today's event. It's Thursday again, as we know, and we are off to one more Zoom meet, of course, temporarily due to this pandemic restriction. I extend a very warm welcome to one and all for a very special session today. The team appreciates you for taking out time from your busy schedule. It is hoped that we all will have a very different insight today from the fruitful and engaging session. Where a lot can be spoken, as we know, I would leave it to the official introduction of a truly interesting speaker meet on wildlife photography. Mr. Bhasmang Mehta, as we know, an industrialist turned wildlife photographer, will share his journey with the wildlife. It will be very special to experience someone who has spent most of his photography's life in the forest capturing the real wild. We'll begin today's event as per our ritual, a prayer by N. Amisha. May I please invite Ami?
या कुन्देन्दु तुषारहार धवला या शुभ्रवस्त्रामृता या वीणा वरदण्डमण्डितकरा या श्वेतपद्मासना या ब्रह्माच्युतशङ्कर प्रभृतिभिः देवैः सदा वन्दिता सा मां पातु सरस्वती भगवती निःशेषजाड्यापः। ॐ तत्सत् श्रीनारायण पुरुषोत्तम गुरुतो सिद्धभूत तो स्कंद विनायक सविता पावक तू ब्रह्ममजत तू यह शक्ति तू ईशु पिता प्रभु तू रुद्र विष्णु तू राम कृष्ण तू रहीमताओ तू वासुदेव को विश्वरूप तू चित्रानंद हरि तू अद्वितीय तू अकाल निर्भय आत्मलिंग शिव तू। ओम तत्सत् श्री नारायण तू पुरुषोत्तम गुरु तू सिद्धभूत तू स्कंद विनायक सविता पावक तू सविता पावक तू सविता पावक तू। थैंक यू।
Thank you, Ami, for the prayer sung in a very soulful voice. Actually, it reminded me my school days. We have studied together, and
Our school
many
days.
of us,
Our school
our
days.
school days. We now move forward to the four-way test of the things we think, say, or do in Rotary. May I please invite Dr. Rashmi Shah to please announce the four-way test.
Thank you, Karthik. The four-way test of the things we think, say, or do. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it be make a goodwill and better friendship? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Thank you.
Thank you, Rashmi Bhai, for the announcement of the four-way test. Now, to begin the program, we have our President, Rotarian Arpit Bhai Shah, who will welcome our speaker and give his opening remarks. Arpit Bhai Shah.
Past District Governor Ravin Bhai, past District Governor Dr. Udeshi, past District Governor Maulin Bhai, District Secretary General Dr. Vikrant Mathur, Rotarians from our district, Rotarians from District 3080. Today we have Rotarians from Chandigarh and Agra also, Metrorians and Rotractors and invited guests. Good evening and welcome to a very important and a very interesting speaker meeting today. Friends, I won't take much of your time, but I'll just brief you about things that we have done in past few days. As announced in our business meeting, we have donated a hospital sterilization unit to Bhagyodaya Hospital, Kadi. ये donation was possible only because of Rotarian Rashmikant Bhai Shah. इतना बड़ा machine उन्होंने donate किया है, that is through our club. So we are very much thankful to Rashmikant Bhai Shah. Machine is already installed और हम एक दिन तय करके we'll have a function there and then the things will go on. Second program that we are starting from tomorrow is STEM. Rotarian Arpita Vyas and Himali Ajmera have initiated this project. And STEM is, as you all know, science, technology, engineering and mathematics. स्कूल की बच्चियों को डिजिटल एजुकेशन और कोडिंग का बेसिक्स हम सिखाने जा रहे हैं. इट विल बी अ 7 days workshop, and after that we have coordinated with Respire who are going to train them online, and after that we'll be giving them certificates. So initially we are starting with 20 girls. Friends, we have 2 new members this week. Dr. Harsh Amin is a cosmetic surgeon, and Dr. Praveen Sharda is an orthopedic surgeon. Dr. Kalpesh Shah has proposed them. Welcome both of you to our club. Last Sunday we had a program, No Metro Family. That is our continuous program. Alternate Sunday we are doing this program, and that program has got a huge response. I'll request all the friends, all the members to join this program. Thereby you will come to know what all our members are, what are their strengths, what are their professional achievements and everything. So I'll request everyone to join in the next program. Friends, accounts of last 3 years have been already circulated to you. If you have any query regarding that, do let us know, inform us. We'll sort out those queries with you. I think that's all from my side. Over to Karthik Bhai.
Thank you, Arpit Bhai, for your welcome and enlightening opening remarks about the Rotary activities and upcoming new events. We move on now to the introduction of our speaker. May I request my fellow Rotarian friend, old friend also, Nachiket Navlankar, to please take over from me and introduce our speaker.
Thank you, Karthik Bhai. Good evening, friends, and welcome, Bhasmang, my school colleague, my oldies, my bestie. આજે મને મારા જૂના મિત્ર અને આજના આપણા સ્પીકર ભસ્માંગ વિશે માહિતી આપવાની છે, તો મને ખૂબ આનંદ થઈ રહ્યો છે. ભસ્માંગ બેઝિકલી હાલ તો અમેરિકામાં છે, પણ તેઓનો જન્મ અમદાવાદમાં થયો અને અમદાવાદમાં જે મોટા થયા. ભસ્માંગ બેઝિકલી એક ડોક્ટર એટલે ફાર્માસ્યુટિકલ ફેમિલી અને ઇન્ડસ્ટ્રીયલિસ્ટ ફેમિલીથી બિલોંગ કરે છે, અને હાલ તેઓ આ બધું છોડી અને પોતાનું પેશન તેમણે જે હતું વાઇલ્ડ લાઈફ ફોટોગ્રાફીનું, એમાં ખૂબ સારી અચીવમેન્ટ એમણે હાસિલ કરી છે. તો એમના વિશે હું થોડી માહિતી આપને આપી દઉં કે ભસ્માંગનો જન્મ એ ડોક્ટર અને ઇન્ડસ્ટ્રીયલિસ્ટ ફેમિલીમાં થયો. તેઓએ ગ્રેજ્યુએશન પૂરું કર્યું અને ત્યારબાદ તેઓ જોડાયા તેમના ફેમિલી બિઝનેસમાં. પણ થોડા વર્ષો આમાં રહ્યા પછી પેલી કહેવાય ને કે અંદરથી અકળામણ થતી, મારે કંઈક મારું કરવું છે, મારા શોખ પૂરા કરવા છે, મારી પેશન પ્રત્યે મને જે ઈચ્છા છે, પેશન પૂરી કરવી છે. તો તેમની જે પેશન એમનામાં હતી કે ભાઈ મારે વાઇલ્ડ લાઈફ ફોટોગ્રાફી ને પેશનને મારો એક હોબી અને પેશનને મારો એક વ્યવસાય પણ બનાવવો છે અને એમાં ખૂબ આગળ વધવું છે. તો તેમણે ફેમિલી બિઝનેસ છોડી અને વાઇલ્ડ લાઈફ ફોટોગ્રાફીમાં ખૂબ સારી અને ખૂબ તેઓ આગળ વધ્યા છે.
Nachiket, Hindi or English એવું suggestion છે. There are people outside Gujarat also.
अच्छा, એવું છે. ओके, थैंक यू. तो भस्मांग जो है वो बेसिकली वाइल्ड लाइफ फोटोग्राफर है. इनका जो फैमिली बैकग्राउंड है वो एक डॉक्टर और इंडस्ट्रियलिस्ट का फैमिली बैकग्राउंड है. उन्होंने बैचलर्स करने के बाद अपने घर का जो बिजनेस था वो उसमें एंटर हुए, लेकिन थोड़े समय के बाद उनको लगा कि नहीं भाई, मेरी जो पैशन मेरे में अंदर है वाइल्ड लाइफ की तरफ, तो मुझे उस तरफ जाना चाहिए। तो ही मूव्ड आउट ऑफ दैट एंड उन्होंने वाइल्ड लाइफ की जो उनकी पैशन थी उनको ही अपना व्यवसाय बना लिया, और वाइल्ड लाइफ फोटोग्राफर के रूप में आज बड़ा अच्छा काम वो कर रहे हैं। બેઝિકલી ભસ્માંગ અત્યારે યુએસમાં શેરલોટમાં આઈ થિંક રહી રહ્યા છે તે, પણ હાલ લોકડાઉનના હિસાબે તેઓ અહીંયા છે અને 6 મહિના અમદાવાદ રહે છે, 6 મહિના યુએસમાં રહે છે, એવી રીતે તેઓ કરે છે. તેઓ પોતાની એક વાઇલ્ડ લાઈફ ટૂર કંપની તેનું નામ વાઇલ્ડ લાઈફ સર્જન્સ છે તે ચલાવે છે इंडिया जितनी भी सॉरी बेसिकली भस्मांग अभी जो है वो वाइल्ड लाइफ सर्जन नाम से अपना एक कंपनी चला रहे हैं, जिसमें वो नॉर्थ अमेरिका और इंडिया में जितने भी वाइल्ड लाइफ सेंचुरीज है उसकी प्रोफेशनल टूर्स का आयोजन करते हैं और खूब अच्छी तरह से उनको मैनेज करते हैं एंड स्पेशलाइज उसमें उन्होंने किया हुआ है. बेसिकली उनकी स्पेशलिटी कस्टमाइज टूर में भी है और वाइल्ड लाइफ फोटोग्राफी के वर्कशॉप भी वो करते हैं, जिसमें फोटोग्राफी किस तरह की जाती है उसको भी वो ध्यान से सिखाते हैं और बहुत अच्छी तरह से उनके ऊपर वो काम करते हैं. तो आज हमारे बीच में मैं भस्मांग को वेलकम करता हूं और उनको बोलता हूं कि हमको वाइल्ड लाइफ फोटोग्राफी के बारे में और जानकारी दे और बताए. थैंक यू.
Thank you, dear Nachiket, for your very interesting and valid introduction about Bhasmang. Fortunately, he was my schoolmate also, so I've been very excited. And it's now almost impossible for us to wait to hear our speaker of the day, Bhasmang. Mr. Bhasmang Mehta, we are all ready for our journey to the wildlife through your experiences. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Shri Bhasmang Mehta.
Good evening. Thank you so much, Karthik, Nachiket, Arpit bhai. It's a pleasure to talk to you. તમને બધાને આટલા વર્ષોએ જોઈને I'm feeling so happy. A very warm welcome. I'll rather keep it in Hindi or English. I'll try to avoid Gujarati so that people from outside Gujarat can understand this as well. So basically, I'm Bhasmang Mehta. I am a professional wildlife photographer based now in America, in Charlotte. Tonight, I'll be talking to you about my journey as a wildlife photographer, some of my experiences which I'll be sharing today. Basically, today's session, I plan to cover in 4 parts. First part would be where I will be showcasing some of my photos and giving you some insights on those photographs. Second part is where I will be briefly narrating about, walking you through about my journey. Nachiket has almost given you the outline of what has happened in my life so far. So that will be the second part. And third part is I will be talking to you about some of the fundamentals of wildlife photography. And the fourth part, I will be taking a question and answer session. I'll be happy to answer your questions if you have any. So without wasting much of time, let's move on to the first part. I'll be showcasing some of the photos today, which I have clicked in the wild. Remember, all these photographs are taken in the wild. There are no any zoo photos or anything like that. No birds or no animals in captivity. So let's begin with the poster picture we have today. So give me a moment. I'll just get the photos going. All right. So this is the poster picture. आज के जो poster का जो picture है, जो poster के ऊपर, this obviously is the Asiatic lion, female. This was photographed in Gir National Park. Most of the people they know, but surprisingly, some of the people they don't know that in Gujarat, Gir National Park is the only place in the world where we can see these Asiatic lions in the wild. what we see in Africa are the African lions, not Asiatic lions. So Asiatic lion ko uske natural habitat mein, wild mein dekhna hai. So you have to come to India. You have to come to Gir in Gujarat. That is the only place where you can see them. So this is the female, of course. Moving on to the next picture. This was shot in Panna National Park, a tigress walking head on. I was lying low on my safari vehicle. This is a kind of photography that I try to do in all my photos. I try to capture that eye contact with the subject. So, ab jo bhi photos dekhoge, most likely you will be, that is one thing which comes out, the eye contact with my subject. I try to bend myself as low as possible in a safari vehicle so that I can get this angle. This is a female called P151 from Panna National Park. Panna National Park is a less visited, less known place, but a beautiful jungle in Madhya Pradesh. Third photo is this. These are the sub-adult Indian leopards. The one in the front is a male and the one in the back is a female. This is a whole interesting story about how the first one...
We are not seeing the third picture. We are at the second picture.
Okay, hold on. Let me move again. Is it okay now?
Yep.
Is it visible?
Yes, it is visible. Yes.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, because sometimes it's the lagging, no, it lags, so it takes a while until you're. Just let me know if you are not able to see the other photos, right? So I was saying that this is Indian leopards. They are sub-adults. The front one is the female, is the male cub, and the one behind is the sister. I had an interesting hour and a half where the first one, the brother, was dejected and he was not able to cross this. There was a big, deep crevice where they are sitting right now. And there is that's a whole story which is there on my Instagram page. Whenever you get time, you can go to that page and see that. I would not be discussing it more here. Moving on to the next picture. This is a tigress from Ranthambore National Park. This is Noori. Again, you see the attentiveness of that animal. She was resting. She had a good bath in one of the water bodies in zone 1. When we reached there and she was lying, and without even lifting her head, she turned and just had a good deep eye contact with me, and she kept on staring us until she was satisfied that, okay, we are not there to disturb her. So this is from Ranthambore. Moving on, again from Ranthambore, this is a sub-adult female tigress. This is known as Riddhi. She was moving across the vegetation to be with her sister, and she was very close to my safari vehicle when this was shot in January 2020. So this is from the Ranthambore again. This photograph, particularly this photograph, is very, very close to my heart. This female leopardess is named as Nagini. I spent about 3 years photographing her. 3 साल तक regular interval पे इसकी photography मैंने की है. And to me, this is the best compliment an animal can give to a And usually when mothers have cubs, they are very irritated. They don't let people go close to them, or even if they go close, she will either get up and get inside the cave to be with the cubs to make sure that they are safe. But she remained like that for about good 1.5 hours, and you can see the calmness on her face. So I think she always used to behave in my and Jankna's presence like that. She was always very chilled out, very relaxed. Unfortunately, she perished a year ago. So after that, Jawai has never been the same again. Jawai, for your information, is in Rajasthan. It's an area called as the Leopard Hills of Jawai. There are about 70 leopards residing along with the humans and without any conflict. More importantly, there is no human-animal conflict in that area. So this is from Jawai. This photo is something I would like to emphasize on. If you can look closely, there is a deer fawn totally out of focus in the front of a leopard. There is a leopard is sitting behind, crouching, waiting for the deer to waiting to launch the attack on the deer fawn. ये जो छोटा सा बच्चा है हिरण का, probably he was out of the herd. Usually इतने छोटे बच्चे herd से बाहर नहीं होते हैं, but surprisingly for some reasons he was left alone. हालांकि वो leopard के सामने देख रहा है, he was not sure, he was not aware that there is a leopard and he has a threat from that leopard. So ये पूरा when we arrived at the scene, ये बच्चा वहाँ पे खा रहा है and that leopard is waiting. वो कभी खड़ी हो रही है, कभी बैठ रही है, कभी पूरा flat हो रही है ground पे, so that she keeps herself hidden from the fawn. पूरा पौना घंटा 1 घंटा तक ये पूरा standoff चला, and during that standoff, while I was ready to capture the action, I could feel 3 different Bhasmangs in me. मुझे अपने आप में 3 different personalities को देखने का मौका मिला. This is what wildlife does to you. There was one person in me, which was the wildlife photographer, who wanted to capture that action. कि कब ये leopard है, ये बच्चे के पीछे भागे और उसको पकड़े, and I get those shots, you know, award-winning shots. That was the photographer in me. Then there was the other person in me, which was the wildlife lover, जो ऐसा सोचता था कि यार ये बच्चा मर जाएगा, ये इतना naive है, इतना inexperienced है, he doesn't know that he has a danger from this leopard which is so close to him. तो बच्चा नहीं मरना चाहिए. Let's pray to God that बच्चा बच जाए. So that was the second person in me. And then there was a third person, which was a neutral, जो सोच रहा है कि think about the leopard also. वो भी भूखी हो सकती है, उसके भी छोटे बच्चे हो सकते हैं जिसको उसको खिलाना है. Because as it said, जीवो जीवस्य जीवनम, and it is about the survival of the fittest when it comes to the wild. So दोनों में से किसी में भी involve ना हो, जो होता है उसको देखो, जैसे as they say विश्वोदय प्रलय नाटक नित्य साक्षी. Just be a sakshi, just be a drashta, be a witness of what is happening. And I think that is the correct way to do when you are in the field of wildlife photography. That don't get yourself involved in any of it or any of the incidents that are happening in the wild, because it's a nature's call, it's a nature's selection. So this standoff, coming back to this standoff remained for about good 45-50 minutes. And finally, the leopard is decided to launch the attack. And that split moment, pe bacche ko pata chal gaya that, oh, he has a threat. And he ran for his life and finally survived. Bacha lived another day, and leopardess had to go empty-handed. So this photo is very, very special to me. Because I could, you know, I could learn a few things about myself while taking this photo. This is again a very, very special photo, a mother and a child. This is in Ranthambore. The leopard, the tigress is known as Arrowhead. And that's the रिद्धि which I shown before. कुछ slides पहले मैंने जिसकी photo दिखाई थी. This is the photo of her when she was a cub. She's just trying to mimic her mother. A very, very strong bonding between the mother and the child. This is what I wanted to portray. So this is one of my favorite shots. This is that same leopardess which was crouching. You can see she is standing right in front of the eyes, but still so perfectly camouflaged. जो fallen leaves हैं, जो backdrop है, and she's totally camouflaged. So you can imagine how difficult it is to see in the wild, to see these animals in the wild from a moving vehicle. This is from Javai. This is a female monitoring her territory from the top of the mountain. This is known as Jivda female. She was monitoring her territory from the top. She had just made a kill. This is from Ranthambore, a tigress called T60. Beautiful, very, very bold tigress. And she had just hunted down a sambar. And I was just waiting for her to lift her head so that I can capture it, because she was down in the foliage. I was not able to photograph her. I was not getting the opening. Eventually, after a good 35-40 minutes of wait, she lifted her head and I could capture this shot. This is interesting behavior of a leopard cub. This behavior is known as the flea man's response, where an animal they curl back the upper lip and keep their nostrils open so they can smell the things, and then they analyze it whether the person or the animal or the thing in front of him or her is a threat or not. She was there, she was resting in a cave when we reached at the scene. But some of the peacocks, they noticed her and started calling out. So she got irritated and she was trying to snarl at the peacock when I clicked this picture. This is again from Ranthambore. If you can see, she is licking her paw. All the cats, they have that, unki jo saliva hoti hai, usme they have those characteristics that when they lick their wound, it gets healed automatically. They have that antibacterial, antifungal elements in their saliva. So usually, jo choti moti injuries hoti hai, they simply get away those injuries just simply by licking their wounds. So this is one action captured in Ranthambore. The tigress is known as Shakti. This is again from Gir. You can see she is scratch marking the tree. Cats do that to mark their territory so that their territories are not invaded by other animals, other lions or other leopards. So, and this is another way, you know, they will try to go as high as possible on the tree bark and scratch it. So दूसरा कोई animal कभी आता है वो territory में and see those scratch marks, and if he or she is able to go beyond that scratch mark to prove his authority over this particular animal, they would try to do that. Otherwise, they'll simply go away. This also helps them to sharpen their claws. So this is one behavior which I wanted to share with you all. This is again another way of spray marking, another way of marking their territory. They usually do these markings every 2-3 days, so that their territories are monitored, and then you know they take a good round of their territory. So though there are no intruders coming to their territory, they will lift their tail and spray the urine on the tree bark, on the prominent posts where they can prove their authority. This is again in action. You can see the urine coming out of the tigress. She was just about to spray the tree bark with the urine. This is from Ranthambore. The previous one was from Panna. So this again is the same tigress which was licking the paw. She's Shakti from Ranthambore. I have to zoom in on this photograph so that you can see what this leopard is doing. It was a rainy day. It was drizzling. You can see the tongue out. जो पानी उसके head पे आता था, which was dripping down her nose, she used to drink it. So on a treetop, leopard in a green background, only Kabini can do this magic for you. This is Kabini, Nagarhole National Park in Karnataka. It was in the month of September that I made this photo. Very, very heavy rain. It stopped. It started to drizzle, and when we found this this female, she is known as Marble. So this is one of that photo which I wanted to share. Moving on to a couple of birds before I end this photo session. This is Sarus crane. काफी लोगों को सारस crane मालूम होगा, but not you might not know about the fact about the Sarus crane is that they are the tallest flying birds in the world. Yes, they are the tallest flying birds in the world. They go as high as 6 feet, and they pair for life. Usually polygamy hoti hai animals mein and birds mein, but not with Sarus. They mate for life when the other partner dies. It is said, it's a folklore that the other one dies. How, I don't know whether it's true or not, but they mate for life. They don't pair with any other male or female in this life. So this is Sarus crane. Ahmedabad ke paas, Sanand, if you have been to this, it's one of the wonderful areas to see these beautiful birds. And there is another area which is known as Pariyej. It's close to Anand. Again, it's a beautiful place to see Sarus cranes in the wild. This is a speed machine. This is peregrine falcon, a migrant bird which comes to India every winter. This is the fastest bird in the bird fraternity. When they dive, actually, the speed is considered when they dive or when they swoop in. Usually what they will do is that they will be flying high and looking down the prey. And when they see a prey, they will swoop in and catch the prey mid-air or from the ground. If there is a lizard or something like that, reptile on the ground, they will swoop in और उसको पकड़ के ले जाएंगे. उस टाइम पे इसकी स्पीड होती है that is considered around 300 kilometers per hour. The fastest bird, peregrine falcon. That's it. Photo presentation. We are done with the first part. Now I'll switch off my photos. I'll be back live on screen. Let's move to the second part. Let me walk you through my journey as a photographer so far. As Nachiket introduced, I'm born in a family of doctors. My grandfather, my father, and my great-grandfather, all were doctors. We had a family industry, which was the pharmaceutical manufacturing industry. After my graduation, as my family wanted it, I joined the company and I started handling it. I was always a travel lover because my parents were into traveling a lot. They used to travel a lot. So along with them, I traveled to far and wide in the country. Later on, business join karne ke baad, 2002 was the year when I visited Gir National Park for the first time. Actually, me and my wife, we were attending a wedding in Amreli. And after the wedding was over, some cousins were there. So they said, let's go to Gir. Itna paas aaye hain, and let's explore the jungle. Without much of knowledge, I had my camera though, because when you are a traveler, you tend to capture the moments. But up to that point, my photography was not restricted to a particular genre. So we went to Gir, and without much knowledge, first safari, within 10 minutes of entering the jungle, we saw a huge male leopard standing. I immediately took out the camera, shot a few shots, photos liye. Those were not the days of digital camera. So you can't see what you have shot because it was an analog SLR camera. I took a few shots. During that trip onward, I got some wonderful shots of lions. So I was excited. I came back, got them developed, loved the photos. And that was the beginning of my love affair with wildlife photography. I wanted to go back to Gir again, but unfortunately, I had a very crazy schedule. I was not able to get much time from my work. So, but andar se ek tha ki you want to do this. So at this juncture came in my life bird photography, because birds are everywhere. They are in your garden. If you go to a city park, you will see birds there. Thankfully for us in Ahmedabad, we have Thor and Nal Sarovar, which are one of the best birding areas in the country. So I used to go there very, very often. Moving there, जैसे जैसे interest बढ़ता गया, जैसे जैसे knowledge बढ़ता गया, I started learning photography because I was a self-taught photographer. I never learned photography from anywhere. Kept on improving. Trips बढ़ती गई. काफी सालों तक ऐसा चला. As and when I used to get more time, I used to go to Gir and other tiger sanctuaries. 2011 was the time. Middle of 2011, I realized that now it's difficult for me to balance my passion and my profession. So दोनों में से एक को छोड़ना पड़ेगा, and I decided to quit my profession. So I came home from factory. I told my wife about the decision. I told my parents about the decision, and they stood by me. They said, if you think this is correct, you should go ahead. Thankfully, they supported me. Otherwise, so-called एक society का pressure होता है कि ये पागल है, ये क्या करेगा? इतना sad industry है, इतने सालों का business है, उसको छोड़ रहा है. He's turning, he's retiring at an age of 35, which may sound foolish. और काफी लोग ऐसे थे भी जिन्होंने ऐसा मेरे back में मेरे सामने बोला कि don't you think you are crazy? But I was not there to listen to their heart. I was there to listen to what my heart told me. I had the full confidence in my capacity and the supreme God. Ki, whatever decision I'm taking, I'll pay off. And thankfully, wife and parents, they supported. So 1st of January 2012, I moved out of my business. Now the world was wide open. I started moving to different jungles for a longer period of time, started getting more experience, more and more knowledge about the animal behavior. Because I always believe that for you to be a good photographer, good wildlife photographer, you have to be a good naturalist. You need to understand the animal behavior first. And जैसे जैसे आपको animal behavior ज़्यादा अच्छे से समझ में आता जाएगा, that will help you to become a better photographer. So काफी साल ऐसे गए. During this period, जैसे जैसे मैं ट्रिप से वापस आता था, I used to talk to my cousins, my friends. So they used to tell me that यार हम लोग भी जंगल में जाते हैं, हम लोग भी गिर गए हैं, but we have not seen lions like you have seen. We have been to Ranthambore, but we have not been able to see any tigers there. So I always used to tell them that it's about 3 R's, getting 3 R's correct. The first R is being at a right place. Second is being at a right time. And the third is being at a right, with a right person. So I'll explain what I mean by that. Being at a right place is that जैसे रणथंबोर, जैसे टाइगर के लिए आपको देखना है, आपको टाइगर देखना है, there are various national parks, but not all national parks have good sightings. So which is that national park which you can go and see and enjoy more? So that knowledge, again, if you talk about that particular national park, Ranthambore mein there are 10 zones. Not all zones have good sightings of tigers. So you have to have that knowledge that this zone has a good sighting of tigers or a good population of tigers. So this is what I mean by being at a right place. Second is being at a right time, which is the correct time to go and see them. Be it winter, be it summer, which is the time of the year where you have more chances of sighting it. If you want to see birds, you have to see for the season in which migrant bird comes, which is the winter time. So this is what I mean by being at a right place and being with the right person. So जैसे रणथंबोर का example लें, so there are 250 drivers and guides. Not all of them are super intelligent. There will be a group of 20 or 30 or 35 people who are the best in the business in terms of the knowledge of the jungle. जिसको पूरा जंगल का चप्पा चप्पा मालूम है, जिसको animal behavior का मालूम है. Those who have desire to make you see that particular animal. Because I have seen guides जो ऐसे अंदर अंदर बात करते रहेंगे कि यार एक टाइगर दिखाएगा तो भी 200 रुपया देगा, 2 दिखाएगा तो भी 200 रुपया देगा, क्यों मेहनत करता है, उसके नसीब में जो होगा वो दिखेगा. When this kind of mindset is there in the guide and driver, you are not gonna get a good result. So I always used to go for the best guides, the best, and by going out to these places multiple times, I had the experience. So that prompted us to start this company called Wildlife Sojourns, where we felicitate these people who want to do these wildlife safaris. एक और funny सा incident आपके साथ share करता हूँ. I met one of my cousins during one of the social gatherings, and he said, यार तेरे photos देखता हूँ and मुझे आने का तो बहुत मन करता है जंगलों में तेरे साथ. I get so intrigued that I should come. But then I am worried कि रात को यार जंगल में bathroom कैसे use करेंगे. And then I couldn't understand his question, what he meant by this. I said, I'm not able to understand what you mean. He said, जंगल में रात को रहते हैं तो bathroom तो खुले में जाना पड़ेगा. I said, no, हम लोग जंगल में नहीं रहते हैं. There is, you're not allowed to stay inside the jungle. I told him that we live in these 4-star hotels which are outside of the jungles, and this is all very luxurious. So that prompted me, because log हैं जिनको interest है, but for these apprehensions which are not true, they might not think of doing it. So that's how we started this wildlife tour company, and in a span of this 4 years, I'm so happy that I have made friends for life. There were guests who joined as guests and became more closer to me, more nearer and dearer to me than the family. I think Mansi and Jigain are live here. I'm not sure if they're there. Mansi and Jigain have done about 9 safaris with me. Jigain came as a stranger, as a tourist, and joined. So this is what we do. I teach wildlife photography to the participants who want to join. जो आते हैं, and those who want to learn photography, I teach them during the tour on the safari, as well as after coming back to the hotel, I teach them. We do customized trip to major national parks of India and South America, Costa Rica, Ecuador, and then Peru and all. So as I'm based in America now, I have got access to all those areas as well. So this is what I do. And now moving on to the third part, which I call the fundamentals of wildlife photography. So basically, I always tell my participants that if you want to become photographer, a wildlife photographer, you have to have 4 P's. 4 P's are very, very essential, which I call the 4 pillars of wildlife photography. First one is the passion. Passion is like any hobby. Arpit Bhai would agree that mountaineering ke liye jana hai, trekking ke liye jana, you have to have that passion. Without passion, you cannot do anything. So passion is the first pillar. Second pillar is the patience. This is one pillar of this is one genre of photography where you need immense patience. आपके हाथ में आपका कैमरा होता है, आपके कैमरा का सेटिंग होता है. Apart from that, whatever is needed to photograph that animal, you don't have in your control. I'll explain. We are totally dependent upon the natural light. जो sunlight आती है, we cannot use flash, we cannot use artificial light to photograph our subjects. So we are totally dependent upon the natural light. So we don't know कि जब हम photography के लिए जंगल में जाएंगे, whether it will be a sunny day, whether it will be a cloudy day, whether it will be misty, or it will be raining for that matter. So we don't know about the light. जिस animal की photography के लिए जाते हैं, वो दिखेगा कि नहीं दिखेगा? टाइगर को देखने गए हैं, टाइगर दिखा कि नहीं दिखा, दिखेगा कि नहीं दिखेगा, वी डोंट नो. दिखेगा तो कैसे दिखेगा? व्हाट विल बी द बैकग्राउंड, व्हाट विल बी द फोरग्राउंड, यू डोंट नो. कितने टाइम के लिए दिखेगा? 5 seconds, 10 minutes, 1 hour, या आके बैठ जाएगा एंड यू आर able to see him for a longer period of time? You don't know. Meaning this is a game of patience. You have no control on any of the things which are required to photograph that subject. I'll tell you one incident. I'll share an incident from my earlier days of birding. I went to Harike Lake. Harike Lake is very close to Amritsar, about 60 kilometers from Amritsar. And it's a very sensitive area because India-Pakistan border is very, very close by. And it's a shrine for the Sikhs. Gurudwara hai wahan pe. And then usse kuch distance pe ek do gaon hai. And then the Pakistan border is there. So a lot of military movement going on. That lake hosts a species called red-crested pochard. Red-crested pochard ki photography mujhe karni thi. So I drove from Delhi to Amritsar, which is about 12-13 hours drive. From there, I drove the next morning to Harike. I had my driver with me. So I reached the lake at 6 o'clock, did darshan in the Gurudwara. I had some food in the langar, and then I sat on the banks of the lake. As I was going, I was met by a couple of army men जो वहाँ पे monitoring कर रहे थे. They casually asked me what I was up to. So I told them that I am here to photograph the birds and I'll be spending few hours here. He said, that's fine. You can sit here, no problem. So I sat there right from 6:30 in the morning to evening 6:30. I was there. 12 hours of waiting, not a single photograph, because it was the time of winter, heavily clouded day. Birds were there, far away. वो जैसे जैसे पास आती थी, crows आके उसको चोंच मार के भगाते थे. Because of the mugginess in the weather, because of the cloudiness in the weather, I was not getting the shutter speed which I wanted to photograph them well. So there was not enough light, as I said. So after 12 hours, when I got back to the car, that army man was standing right by my driver. And उसने पूछा कि I am excited to see the photos. I said, I don't have a single photo. एक photo भी नहीं था मेरे पास जो मैं उसको दिखा सकूं. So he was like, 12 hours of waiting and you haven't got a shot? I said, no, I haven't got a shot. So this is what, makes you patient. As Nachiket and Rutvij would tell you, that I was a very restless child. In school, I was absolutely restless. But this profession, coming into this profession, made me sit for hours together. And I think it's helping in this lockdown also to confine to this चार दीवारी में confined रहना 6 महीने के लिए. This is that patience which is paying off, you know. So this is patience. Another incident was in Bhutan where we went to photograph blackneck cranes. Blackneck cranes are one of the most rarest of rare cranes, and they winter in the plains of Phobjika Valley. So we had gone to Bhutan especially to photograph them. We reached Thimphu. Thimphu se 60 kilometer hai, just 60 kilometers, but that 60 kilometer takes about 9 hours for you to reach. 9 hours of drive. You can imagine how good or bad roads would be. I would not call them roads. We drove. We reached Phobjika Valley. Next morning, we were supposed to hike for about 3.5 hours to be able to reach at a place where these blackneck cranes are roosting. So we started hiking in the early morning. It was winter, November. Me, wife, son, and the 2 guides with all the camera gears loaded and all the necessities, water and food and everything. 3-3.5 घंटे की चढ़ाई के बाद, you know, we were getting to hear the calls of the birds. So I was very excited to be able to see them, photograph them. I was hoping that in the next few hours or next few minutes, I'll be able to see the photos that I've clicked. I was so super excited because flying in from India to Bhutan, then driving to all this place and then hiking and then being able to see the birds, it was all very exciting. But unfortunately, when we reached the scene, the reality was totally different. Birds were there, but 2-3 दिन पहले जो बारिश हुई थी, उसके चलते the whole area was heavily mudded. इतना mud था वहाँ पे, knee deep mud, that we were not able to penetrate it and go close to the birds. Birds पास नहीं आएंगी again because of the mud. And my cameras, birds were way beyond the reach of my camera. So the whole effort that we made got zero result in terms of particularly photographing that bird. But again, as I said, we love being in the wild. So we enjoy that process of going, process of finding those animals, of those birds. And even if you don't get a shot, don't get disheartened. That's when the 4th pillar comes in, which is the perseverance, that you have to go to that particular place over and over again. Ek baar nahi mila, do baar nahi mila. You go again, you try your luck, and eventually you will get it. So these are the 4 pillars of what I call the 4 pillars of wildlife photography. Now, another very, very commonly asked question is that how do I start photography? कैसे photography करनी है मुझे wildlife photography, and how do I start doing it? So basically, I always tell that start with wherever you are, whatever camera you have. Start with birds. It's not necessary कि आप हर बार जंगल में जाए and you shoot tigers and lions and leopards. If your time permits, fair enough. उससे अच्छा और कुछ भी नहीं है. But if you are like me in my earlier years, where, you know, I started with photographing birds in my garden, Thal, Narsarovar, outskirts of Ahmedabad, do that, improve your photography. And that's when you, you know, that's when the 4th pillar comes, which is the practice more. Keep on practicing your skills, and the more you practice, the more you're gonna improve in your photography. So start. People ask me ki kaun sa camera le, which is the best camera. So I always tell there is nothing like a best camera. The best camera is the one you have or you can afford, because जो है इससे शुरू करो. I was jokingly telling one of my cousin the other day that sometimes people say that, oh, you have got the best camera, so no wonder you get best shots. So it's like saying कि Zakir Hussain इसलिए अच्छा तबला बजाते हैं because उनके पास बहुत अच्छे तबले हैं. It's not like that. It's his skill which plays the good tabla, you know, which makes the best tabla player in the world. So having a good camera doesn't make you a good photographer. You need to invest time into learning, into practicing, and that's where you get better in this field. So I think this is what I had to say. I'll be glad to take up your questions. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'll try to answer them to the best ability I have. So it's up to you guys now.
Thank you. Thank you, Bhasmang. I don't know whether question answer is currently be a part of this, but yes, if somebody, maybe some questions have been written, could you see any of them?
I could see them, but I could not read it, Karthik. So if you can just read out, or if they can write again.
I'll have to check with my colleague.
Okay.
Whether that's to be taken, or maybe we can take it separately.
We can have a question answer session, Karthik bhai.
Fair. So, may I request the audience? I think Mehul bhai has written, how do you manage to get a good photograph? Maybe I missed it out.
Yes,
Maybe
I'm seeing it now. How do you manage to get a good composition with 600 mm? Do you still try rule of thirds? Yes, Mehul bhai, definitely I try to do rule of thirds, but I don't always shoot with 600 mm. I keep 2 or 3 different lenses in my kitty, 70 to 200, which it's one of the lenses which is there with me all the time. I have got 300 mm f2.8. So, but yes, 600 mm in those cases where the animal or the bird is too far away, I'm a big advocate of rule of thirds. So even, I mean, sometimes this is a rule actually, that you can break it, but I believe that following that rule of third, directly the attention goes to the attention of the viewer goes to the subject directly. But in certain cases, like you see that tiger photograph, where it's a centrally focused photograph. Sometimes I do break the rules, but I try to follow the rule of thirds as and when it's possible for me. Thank you.
My dear, I sent a question to you.
Yes.
The whole photography I saw, the panther, the tigress, everything, but all were females. None of them was male. I want to know the secrecy of this about, What is that about?
You got me here. Opposites attract, doesn't it?
100% you are on feminine things, Good. That's the secrecy of best photographer.
Yes.
Yeah, we have one question from Ahmedabad University. Someone is from Ahmedabad University. Which is the best track in Ranthambore for tiger sighting?
Best zone in Ranthambore, currently they vary from time to time. Currently, zone 1, 2, 3, and 4 and 6 are good. Zone 2 and 3 and 4 has what I call the omnipresent tigress called as arrowhead, jiska photo मैंने बच्चे के साथ दिखाया था. So she rules those zones. So 1, 2, 3, and 6 you will not go wrong in this season. This is for the current season for Ranthambore.
We have a question from Amol. Any recommendation for a decent tripod for wildlife photography?
Amol, I use Manfrotto, but take any good sturdy camera and sturdy tripod, and try to get the tripod which flexes the legs. पूरे stretch हो जाते हैं if you are a bird photographer. So when you are photographing on some lakes, you can go as low as possible to the subject, to the eye level of the subject, and click something. Other than that, get a gimbal head if you are using the primes or something like that. Gimbal would be more helpful. But mainly, I don't use tripods that much, because using a tripod from a safari vehicle is very difficult. For birding, it's essential. And lately, I have not been doing that much of birding. But I do have Manfrotto and a gimbal head with me.
Okay. There is a question from Zubair. Is Taboda a good place to enter for tiger sightings? If yes, which is the best? Tadoba, yes. If yes, which is the best time of the year to go?
Tadoba is good all year round. Tadoba currently has good sightings in the buffer zones than the core zones. Usually it's other way around. Core zones have good sightings and buffer zones. जो guest को कभी buffer का नाम देते हैं, अरे buffer में नहीं जाना है sir, but Tadoba is other way around lately. Agarzari buffer is booming. There are a few other buffer zones. अब ये 6 महीने के lockdown के बाद situation might have changed, but Tadoba is in general good. I would recommend, if you're asking for the best season, go in summer, but be prepared to get tanned. 48, 49 degrees mein, it will be like entering a furnace, but well worth it. If you can bear that heat, go in summer, undoubtedly.
Aditya is asking, is leading lines composition possible in wildlife photography? Can you please share some of your leading line shots, please?
I don't get the question, Rutvij. Sorry.
I'm also not able to understand the question. I'm just reading it as it is written. Is leading lines composition possible in wildlife photography? Can you please share some of your leading lines shots, please? Aditya, if you are there, can you explain your question?
Can you elaborate? Yeah, Aditya, please.
I think Aditya is not there. Well, we will move on to the next question. It's asked by Swayam, our budding photographer, I think the youngest one in our club. I have been following Shah's Jung, and I noticed that in your photos there is no heavy editing. Do you like the pics to have more natural, subtle touch?
That's true. Editing is necessary. Editing is a part, is something which is mandatory for any digital photograph, but it's a personal choice of a photographer. Shaz is a very dear friend of mine, and he never calls himself a wildlife photographer. He calls himself a digital artist. He said, I'm a digital creator. So he takes photos and then he edits it. It's his way of showcasing his work. I rather like to show what I actually saw. So it's a personal choice, but you noticed it perfectly.
I think there are raining questions. I'll just skip some of them.
Sure.
How was your experience to stay at Javai?
Javai has been always wonderful. I have been to Javai over 50 times. And next week, hopefully, or in the week after that, I plan to go before I go back to USA, because this is one area I cannot miss, and I have been out of that area since 1.5 years. So I wish I can go before I go back. So keeping my fingers crossed.
we were coming to the last question. Top 3 wildlife sanctuary you have been to and recommend?
The ones which are very close to my heart would be Ranthambore. I call it my second home. It's again. Second, obviously, is Javai. Javai is one area which I have been going fairly regularly. And third one is Gir. I have named it that way because we get all the 3 big cats. We get tigers in Ranthambore, we get leopards in Javai, and we get lions in Gir. The fourth one for birding is Bharatpur, Kevladev National Park. When I used to do exclusively bird watching, that was a place where I used to spend about 50-20 days and do bird photography there.
Rupesh Bhai has got a question.
Yes, Rupesh Bhai.
Sure.
Yeah, so it was excellent presentation with good background and story. Normally, how much in advance you plan? Do you make the diary after your every visit? And any prize or the trophies for your photography?
Rupesh Bhai, thank you. I'm glad you liked the presentation. Advanced planning is very much essential. Usually, since I'm in this profession and I have got my tours back-to-back tours planned, so usually they are planned 2 or 3 months in advance. For a place like Ranthambore, it's better if we can plan 6 months in advance, because then अच्छे zones की permit लेना easy हो जाता है हमारे लिए. So it's like that. Coming to the awards, I am not a big fan of participating in contests because that will be, I feel that then I'll be photographing for the prize. I am there to photograph for my own happiness. However, I have participated in a couple of contests, and Lalit Kala Academy के जो awards होते हैं, I have been a fortunate winner of 2 times. 2 times I won the Lalit Kala Academy awards. Apart from that, I rarely participate in any competitions. But this was the government thing, and I thought I should I should participate. So I participated and I won a couple of times.
And another question was, do you normally keep the records and diary after your every visit for your future reference?
Yes, Rupesh bhai, I have my the base record are my photographs, right? That this ye trip ho gaya, so this is what I have captured. But yes, not just for my personal safaris. मेरे जो guest भी जाते हैं, I have got the whole data. That, say for example, Rutvij and family went to Ranthambore during this time. What were the sightings? What animals they saw? Which zone they saw? What was the time they saw? I have got the full data. That helps me, understand the behavior. Even if I'm in America and my guests are going, I'm totally in touch with all the sightings, all the things which are happening. Last year I was in US, and Raymond Group की जो chairman है, उनकी granddaughter, she was my guest in Kabini. I was updated by every safari by my team from Kabini that sir iska ye sighting hua hai. So before she can come back to the hotel and tell me that Bhasmang, I got this, I used to tell, oh Rasaleka, you got these shots. So this is the kind of thing which I always do. Records mere paas pure, I try to maintain the whole record.
There's someone who has asked a question. I could see you would like to attend that. How do you archive your pictures?
Oh, archive. If by archiving you mean the backup, I will have a laptop with me on my trip.
Maybe
so
the format
I'm
or something.
back to the hotel, I'll Sorry.
Exactly, you are right. You're going on the right track, please.
Yeah. So I'll take a backup in the laptop first, and then there will be a hard drive, which the photos will be transferred to the hard drive. Coming back home, I've got 3 different sets of hard drives. So 3 copies ban jayegi. And in my family, I shoot. My wife, she makes short films on wildlife. She's a photographer herself as well. And my son also photographs. So तीनों की 3 hard drives. So you can imagine the number of hard drives I have in my home and the kind of the work I have to do after coming back from every trip. But it is essential because after all, ye gadgets hain, and kab data chala jaye, and you don't want to miss on this very, very important data which you have gathered after this hard work. So this is what I do.
All right. Any other questions? Fair. So I
will share my contact details here. So just in case if someone has any question, they can always get in touch with me on my email or on any of my social media. These are my emails. The first one is my official email. You can email it to me there or on my personal email. नीचे मेरा Instagram handle है. And the last one is my WhatsApp number. You can always feel free to WhatsApp me. You can just take a screenshot. Now I think you can see Amol. I was just fetching it from the phone.
We have.
So you have got Ruthvi, you have got Nachiket, you have got Ajay. They're all my buddies, and we are all together. So you can get my details from them anytime. So I'll stop sharing the screen now. Perfect.
All right. Maybe first of all, have a very big round of applause for our speaker of the day, a very talented, very young Bhasmang Mehta. Bhasmang, I have a question. So many questions have been asked, but I didn't ask you any question.
Sure, please.
I'm asking you a very obvious question, which you've heard so many times in your life. Are you crazy?
I am.
Are you crazy? Well, that was very obvious. And anybody would ask you that. That was adventure. You took us to a journey which was second to none. A truly inspiring and exciting journey of wildlife. How you would have made it possible with so much of struggle and switching from a promising career you had in front of you, suddenly deciding to move from a very defined career, very business, set everything to this. You have been inspiring many. And then your 4 Ps. I feel that surely asks for a lot of passion and dedication with full throttle, but the patience, the perseverance, planning, whatnot. You have rightfully said somewhere, I read that you are destined to be a photographer. So heads off to you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
You have done
Bhasmang,
a
once
good homework,
again
buddy.
for your valuable time. Before we move forward to the end of the program, I request Rotary Rutvij, our secretary, for his secretarial announcements.
Thank you, Karthik Bhai. Welcome to the reality from a wonderful wildlife journey to business end of the meeting. In upcoming programs on 10th of September, we have a meeting on new education policy, which will be addressed by our own Rotarian Sachin Parikh. On 17th September, friends, you all know that we are into 25th year of our club. So on 17th September, we are having a special program celebrating our journey of 25 years in Rotary. Hemali Ben Ajmera, Kalpesh Bhai, Praful Bhai, and Archita Ben Deepak Bhai are working very hard to collect the information, prepare the presentation, and work out nitty-gritties of this program. So 17th September will be the day on which we'll be going through our past journey of 25 years. I request you to mark this 17th September and make yourself available for this meeting, for this celebration. On 24th September, we are having a business meeting. Arpit Bhai has already declared about the accounting aspect of it. So if you have any question about that, just let us know via email or via WhatsApp. So we will get back to the precedents of that particular year and get the reply. Friends, as Arpit Bhai declared that we are having Know Your Rotary Family programs on every second and fourth Sunday. It's an half-an-hour program that will be held on 13th and 27th September. In upcoming birthdays, we have birthday of Rotarian Chintan Shah on 5th September. And our senior Rotarian Deepak Bhai Shantilal Shah on 5th September. And Praful Bhai Jarmarwala on 7th of September. We wish a very happy birthday to all these members. In marriage anniversary, Raju Bhai Devani and Dhanlakshmi Ben is having anniversary on 6th of September. And in spouse's birthday, Ganpat Bhai Chopra's wife, Shushila Ji, her birthday is on 4th of September. Then Shalin Ji Shah's wife, Pooja Ben, is having her birthday on 6th of September. Our best wishes to them on their birthdays. Friends, you must have noticed that there is a common thread going between all the persons who have been handling this meeting. First, starting from Karthik Bhai, then Ami, then Nachiket, Bhasmang, myself, and then Ajay, who will be presenting vote of thanks. We all are from the same school, CN Vidyalaya, and apart from Karthik Bhai, we are from the same batch. It's a matter of great pleasure for us, for this that we are able to have this kind of program. Friends, at this juncture, we acknowledge the presence of many Rotarians from our district, from outside of our district, from Agra, from RC Chandigarh. And sir, we acknowledge your presence and we convey our best wishes to your club, sir. We also acknowledge the presence of many outsiders, guests, and friends and relatives. Thank you. With this, I come to an end of my announcements. Back to you, Karthik Bhai.
Thank you, dear Rutvij. Thanks for the connection. I was just about to say that there's been a special connection today with Bhasmang. We all have. Yeah. And then how could we leave out one person when everyone has been connected in some or the other manner and participated for the glory, the story of Bhasmang. So may I now finally request our last friend, Rotarian Ajay Dave, for his vote of thanks for our speaker, Bhasmang, and for the session.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for inviting me to say vote of thanks to everyone. So I'm also CNT. So there's all CN people together today. Karthik, Ami, Rutvij, Ajay, Bhasmang, and Nachiket. So thank you. Bhasmang and myself, we have a 30. I met him now after 30 years now today. So thanks, Bhasmang, to join us on today's
My pleasure,
meeting.
buddy. It's been a long
after 30 years. After 30 years.
Yes, long time.
I must say thanks to Ami, first of all, for a nice prayer today. Rotarian Rashmi Bhai for his four-way speech. Nachiket for introduction of Bhasmang, because we are again same classmates. Karthik again. And Bhasmang, you take us to a great journey today. Be honest, you take us to virtually into the jungle and the wildlife places. Me and Ruthvi just recently finished our one trip of 10 days in wildlife safari. But today you tempted us again to go and do this. This time we make sure that you also be a part of our team because we want to learn a lot more things. When you are going to Javai, just give me a ring because I'm a fan of the Shivganj leopards. I used to go there and see the Shivganj leopards on that Pipalia Pahad. So try and call me. I can also try and join you.
Definitely.
So thank you very much for your time and thank you, Rutvij, to arrange a nice session with Bhasmang today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, dear Ajay. With this, we come to the end of a very, very wonderful session, very special session of today's event. And as per our tradition of Rotary, it's time for us. May I request everyone to raise for the national anthem.
Friends, I have a very special.
Before that, I would,
yes,
Karthik, I would like to thank everyone for your time. I'm glad that I was invited by Rutvij and Arpit Bhai, and I could I could talk to you guys. I feel truly humbled. Thank you so much. So,
yes.
I think Rutvij is saying something.
Yes, there is a wonderful tune of our national anthem, which is in the background you will have wildlife in there. So I'm just sharing that screen. Just hold on.
Vida utkal banga Uchal jaladhi taranga Tav shubh naame jaage Tav shubh ashish maange Gahe tav jaya gatha Jan gan Jai Bharati Jaya He Jaya He
We enjoyed a lot, huh, Bhasmang? मजा भी किया. Yeah, we enjoyed a lot.
Really enjoyed. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It was you who made it possible. I would have never thought something like this.
સરસ રહ્યું.
We adjourn the meeting. પછી આપણે open રાખીએ room.
બેલ મારી દો.
meeting is adjourned. We'll join for dinner very soon.
Thank you.
અર્પિતભાઈ એકવાર નક્કી કરો ને કે બધા ઘેર એક સરખું ડિનર બનાવે પછી સાથે બધા પોતપોતાના ઘરે ખાઈશું. Everybody will have the same menu.
Good idea.
ધુરંધર ડોક્ટર સાહેબ જ હોય.
ભાજી પાઉં છોલે પૂરી બધા પહેલેથી મેનુ તમે આપી દો, બધા ઘેર એ જ બનાવવાનું, ખાવાનું સાથે. એટલે સ્ક્રીન મીટિંગ ચાલુ રહે એડજસ્ટ કર્યા પછી જમવાનું.
હું તમારા ઘરે આવી જઈશ.
આવો, અમે મોસ્ટ વેલકમ.
આપણે સાથે જઈશું સાહેબ.
એટલે એક જ ટેસ્ટ મળે ને.
મેનુ તમે નક્કી કરો, પાછી જેટલા ના આવું એટલા ના આવો.
એક જ ટેસ્ટ મળે ને એટલે કહું.
બસમાંગભાઈ બહુ મજા આવી. enjoyed
a lot.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Arpitbhai. Thanks.
Just I was at Gir in May, so we enjoyed it. So you recollect the things.
Yeah, Gir is special. Gir is very, very special. I work for the conservation of lions there. The Gujarat State Lion Conservation Society. I'm a part of that team. So, but હવે દૂર રહું છું એટલે એટલું frequently meetings માં એમાં નથી હાજર રહી શકતો, પણ I try to do whatever I can from there.
And in Ranthambore, I was able to see caracal also.
Oh, that is rare. That is a prize catch. Caracal in Ranthambore is a prize catch.
Matting pair of cheetah. That I was lucky. I can't see tiger, but I saw these two things.
Wow. But caracal જોઈ એટલે આખા ઇન્ડિયાની વાઇલ્ડલાઇફ ની one of the rarest of rarest cats. Yeah. You are lucky.
એકચ્યુઅલી બસમાંગ એનું જે પ્રોફાઇલ કે એનું ઇન્ટ્રોડક્શન માટે મોકલતો હતો ને 500 લીટીનું મોકલતો હતો, એટલે મેં થોડું એલોકેટ કરીને મોકલ.
ઋત્વિજભાઈ તમારો અવાજ બહુ જ ઓછો આવે છે.
ઋત્વિજભાઈ આજે તમારે છે ને લિંક બહુ, તમારો ડેટા બહુ ઢીલા છે આજે.
અમી બેનનો બી પ્રેયર અડધી જ સંભળાઈ. અમી ફરી પ્રેયર કરી રહ્યા તો ચાલ તો.
નેશનલ એન્થમ મે કપા નહીં સંભળાતું.
મને આખી સંભળાઈ. તમે કેમ આવું છે? કોને? અચ્છા, પ્રેસિડેન્ટ સાહેબ કે એટલે ફાઇનલ
જનગણ મનમાં બી
ઋત્વિજભાઈ સંભળાયું. ઋત્વિજભાઈ તમારી બેન્ડવિડ્થ વીક છે એવું આયા કરતું.
એવું આયા કરતું. અમી બાજુમાં બેસે ને એટલે એની બેન્ડવિડ્થ
વીક થઈ ગઈ.
અર્પિતભાઈ કે બાડે
જાહેરમાં તો સ્ટ્રોંગ થાય.
હા, તમે મજામાં છો? બોલો.
હા, બસવાનભાઈ કેમ છો? અમિત પરેખ.
રહી ના જાય.